So here before you guys, we see a group of Northern watches, one in bronze, one in stainless steel. And for my longtime viewers, or just some regular viewers out there, you may recall we actually took a look at the prototypes of these two watches last year. Now, since the last review of these watches from Northern Watches, a lot has happened and a lot has changed. I sustained a very serious injury that has left me with a very serious, pretty much lifelong neurological disorder, and throughout that whole process, the founder of Northern Watches has been a huge supporter of my channel, of my recovery. He's been checking in, and I just want to say this one thing before we even talk about the watches themselves. You know, I would hope that the viewers out there and the other supporters of mine take a moment and support the people who have supported me, because there aren't really words that can describe how supportive and nice some of you guys have been throughout this whole entire process. You know, my upload schedule has changed, the kind of content I make has changed, the way I present content has changed, and for the companies out there who have stuck with me and wanted to be a part of the Time Teller channel in some way, you know, I can't thank you enough, and Northern Watches has been here throughout all of it. But my life isn't the only thing that changed since last year. You see, for the astute observer, you will notice that these watches look a little bit different, and that's because they are. The production models are very, very interesting and incredibly impressive, and we're going to talk about all of that today. It is 2:59 p.m. Let's get down to business. Another enormous supporter of mine has been Wolf Watch Club. You know, every Sunday they give away an incredible watch. This Sunday it's going to be a Rolex Oyster Perpetual 41 in evergreen. There's just under 2 days left for that. There's a Hamilton up for grabs, and then at the end of the month, a Rolex Batgirl. Guys, you could be one of these winners. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description below and get your tickets. So one thing I find very interesting about these watches is the movement it uses. It's a GMT. Kind of. You see, Northern Watch's whole philosophy is about telling time naturally. Instead of the typical 12-hour format, it actually shows every single hour of your day on the dial at all times. It starts with a 0 at the bottom of the dial where the 6 o'clock would be, and a 12 up by, well, the 12 o'clock. You see, Northern Watches recognizes that during your day, it doesn't actually arbitrarily reset in the middle. It just keeps on going. It flows 24 hours, and it's just natural. And the differences don't stop there. You'll notice this watch does have a date window, but it's at the left side, where the 9 o'clock would be. Again, that's a whole lot better than like an offset date window. Like, that's just worlds better than an offset date window, but some of you guys might think that that's just blasphemy. But here's the deal. Northern Watches recognized that when most people wear their watches on their left wrist, when you first look at your watch in the morning, your eyes more naturally go towards that part of the dial. I never really thought to research that or figure that out, but it's really cool that Northern Watches did and made a watch with that in mind. I also think that this takes deliberate design choices to a whole new level, because this is not anything that's just kind of fly-by-night, you know, randomness. This is incredibly deliberate design language for a purpose, and they're not just changing things to be different. I think that's very, very cool. Now, both models, whether you look at the bronze or the steel, are 38 millimeters in diameter. They have a 48 millimeter lug-to-lug, and they are 10.6 millimeters thick. Now, as I referenced earlier, these watches are both powered by a GMT movement. It is a Swiss Solida 332. It is a top grade GMT, but what makes this different is it uses the GMT wheel to drive the main hour hand. So instead of tracking multiple time zones, again, you get that natural time telling of 24 hours a day. Now, the Bronze Age variant, which is the dark dial bronze watch, was trying to capture the feeling of a warm summer hike on a mountain. That's what Northern watches told me, but it's in stark contrast with the Northerner, which is the light color stainless steel, which is obviously much cooler and snowy. Now, these watches range from around 1900 Swiss francs for the bronze and around 1700 Swiss francs for the stainless steel, but you are getting early pricing of a 45% discount on Kickstarter, again, when you show up early. And that's coming very soon, guys, so don't sleep on this release. Now, I'll be the first to admit, these watches are not for everyone, okay? Some people will not like that they are using a GMT wheel to drive the hour hand. Some people will not like that there's a date window in the wrong spot, and that's perfectly fine. I love that this watch is different. I love that their different design choices are deliberate, and I think it's incredible that they actually have this philosophy behind the design, and it's not just some weird smoke and mirrors woo-woo thing. Like, they actually have this philosophy and executed upon it in a very real way. Now, my favorite part about the watches, whether it be bronze or the stainless steel variant, is the lugs. Now, the founder of Northern Watches told me he wanted to produce a watch with the most beautiful lugs possible, and as a vintage watch lover from the era of fancy lugs, I was all about this. Each lug on these watches is machined from a single block of metal and then screwed onto the case. It is insanely engineered and it is gorgeous. So yeah, I personally love the design, I love the philosophy behind it, and again, the lugs themselves just look gorgeous. But if there's one thing I can leave you with, it's that a lot of brands that reach out to influencers like myself, whether it be here on YouTube or on Instagram, they're honestly just looking for exposure, but you sometimes get very, very lucky and bump into brands and people like the people of Northern Watches who are genuinely good and actually are concerned and care about you. And so, again, guys, if you could, and if you are interested in doing so, please go ahead and check out Northern Watches and pay attention to their Kickstarter, because again, to get a 45% discount on these watches, that's insane. So take advantage of that for sure. All right, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed, and stay in the fight. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.